I wanna be the very best. That is
See already, I'm doing beats already.
Oh my God!
iconic line. Such an iconic line for, I'm gonna say, the single best, most important theme song of the of a childhood. Actually, marked an entire generation. So, with that said, guys, today we have a very special guest with us. He is the person who actually recorded that original Pokemon theme song way back when in the 90s when we were just kids ourselves. So this is El Kokiyotaku, and with us, please welcome Mr. Jason Paige.
The voice of a generation has arrived. I'm glad to be in Puerto Rico.
You even have a card.
Oh yeah, we've got many cards. We got many cards that are Jason Paige cards. This is the new one that came in yesterday, and I'm just getting it up on my website. It is so cool, and it looks like a real Pokemon card. I'm the closest thing there is to a real Pokemon.
And guys, the description to Jason's page is right in the description below. So run down to the description, expand it, go to the link, click on the link of Jason's page. You can find all this very cool merch that he has on his webpage.
All right.
I'm sorry. I know what's going on. There we go. I get my lighting better.
Perfect.
If I don't,
because it's so bright out in California right now.
It's so bright out. That's the problem.
It's 10 p.m. We had dinner here.
Yes. With that said, again, Jason, please thank you so much for joining us. So
you're very welcome.
We're gonna pretty much get right down to business. First of all, I want to say thank you on behalf of my generation, because I was like 8 years old when when Pokemon came out, and that song was like, it marked us. Definitely marked us. Definitely the voice of generation. So my first question for you is, how did you even land the job to record the song? Like, was it completely random, or did like a company approach you? Like, how was it?
Well, I'm what's known as a session singer. I like to change that term to a vocal gymnast, a vocal acrobat. And as you can see from my shirt, these are all the things that I'm doing at all, throughout the year. I do a couple hundred different sessions. Subway, eat fresh, look blue, dig quicker, bigger, upper, be all that you can be. I see a little silhouette of a can. Mountain Dew, time to do the slam dango. So everything on my shirt it represents something that I did for some brand or some company as a session singer. Lego Mania. And
oh my God! Wow.
Singer,
okay.
Yeah, and so every day I'm doing a different thing. Pokemon is one of those many sessions that I have had done at the time. So sometimes 2 or 3 a day, depending on what was going on. And still I'm doing sessions for various products and various movies and artists, backgrounds, and live performances. So I'm singing all over the place all the time. And Pokemon is one seed of thousands of seeds that I've planted that happen to grow into this jungle ecosystem of incredible opportunity for you guys, for the whole world. And I'm just glad that I was able to be part of it, to plant that seed back in the day. But I planted a lot of seeds, and they're growing all in various different ways throughout the universe. That's what we're doing right now. We're just planting a seed, one podcast seed that could grow into a whole bunch of things later on.
And then that's the thing. It's like sometimes people might not even recognize like where have you been. It's so diverse. It's impressive, honestly. So because this podcast is basically based on anime, that's why we're like specifically asking for Pokemon and things like that. But when you were doing one of these sessions, and that session was Pokemon, were you given like specific themes or topics that you had to center the song around?
Well, when they do all of these jobs, not all of them, but many of them there's the client, and the client says, we need a song that to represent our product. And then they hire an ad agency oftentimes. And then the ad agency writes out a whole bunch of stuff that they think that the client likes. And they present it and they say, we want to do a thing like this. And the client says, okay, go for it. And then the ad agency hires the music house. And then the music house says, all right, we've been hired by the ad agency to create the music for this thing. Here's how it goes. So it comes from the client first, Pokemon or Lego or SpongeBob, to the ad agency, which in this case, there was no, in this case, it was Pokemon to 4Kids, which was the company that brought the Pokemon TV show to the United States. And then they hired the third level down, which is the music house, which was Paradise Music, rave music. And then they went to work creating the song, and they hired the musicians and built the song for the 4Kids who built it for Pokemon. So Pokemon had an idea of obviously what they wanted to do. They were already going on in Japan, and they knew what the essence of the character Ash was and what he had to do. So they told 4Kids, give us something that represents it. And 4Kids said to, I'm pretty sure that the first lyric was handed down by Pokemon to 4Kids, catch 'em if you can, which was the lyric that they first got. And they wanted a certain musical style, and that this is always the way that the line of command happens. And then the music house goes to work fulfilling that objective. And that's why I consider myself a vocal gymnast or vocal acrobat, because I have to jump into all different types of characters and different styles and different ideas and different modes to satisfy the music house, or to satisfy the ad agency, to satisfy the client. So yeah, they gave an outline, and they also, when I came into the studio, they had an example of the TV show that played, and the lyrics were written for the first verse, and we recorded the "Catch 'em if you can, Pokemon," and then that went back up to 4Kids, which sent it back probably to Pokemon, and Pokemon said, "Catch 'em if you can" isn't really sounding quite right. It's kind of not the right vibe. So then they came back with "Gotta Catch 'Em All," and that was when we replaced that, and the rest is history.
And now I'm connecting the puzzle, because I didn't realize that the Spanish version that all Hispanic generation grew up when he listened to it, Tengo que atraparlos ya. I didn't realize it's a direct translation from your work. I thought that everything came from one single translation, but I never crossed in my mind that first was your work in English, and then it was translated to Spanish, Latin America.
Yeah, if you've heard the Pokemon theme song for the Japanese version, it's wildly different. It's a whole different song that is not very good, in my opinion. But it's all right. It worked for Japan. It just didn't work for the English version, so they rewrote it, and they rewrote the slogan, because that's pocket monsters. They were pocket monsters, and that was not that they said Pokemon instead of pocket monsters. But that's what Pokemon means, pocket monster, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Right. And knowing that Japan had its own original version before yours, did that create any pressure on you? Like, were you feel like any pressure that you have to go close to Japan version, or you just went really wild knowing that you can bring something new, original, fresh that will overbeat the original version?
Yeah. There was no mention of the Japanese version at all. Matter of fact, I didn't even know there was a Japanese version until 20 years later, when I looked it up and was like, oh, here's the Japanese song. I knew it was out in Japan, but we didn't listen to it. We didn't try to cop that feel. We just, did our own thing.
And heads up to the youngers that are listening to us tonight. Back then, our times in 90s, internet wasn't that fast like today's day. Today's day, somebody bring a new song, in seconds to go viral. Back then, the closest one was to the internet was with the dial-up. It was very expensive, and we had to download music through LimeWire, which was illegal as hell, and got a lot of virus. And it was super hard to get fresh media music video. So yeah, and I'll see why it took that long to Jason to get he made it to you the original Pokemon song compared with today's days.
Yeah, no, you didn't. We didn't know. We didn't. We did see the Japanese TV show, but we weren't listening to it because wouldn't understand what it was doing anyway.
Oh wow.
That is true.
I'm so in shock because at the same time I'm imagining all this scenario and I'm placing myself in the 1990s when technology was so behind today's day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, one of the best jokes in Pokemon, the first episode, we see like a super new technology video calls. They show Nurse Joy in a phone call. We all kids were like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be the best future." We already thought that less than 10 years later, it would be reality, normal day like today's day.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So I have another question. When you were writing these, okay, first of all, so you wrote the entire lyrics yourself, yes or no?
No. I am not the writer. I am the singer. The writers were the Jingle House that was given the assignment, and I would even say that the company 4Kids or Pokemon would be legitimate. They're not actually listed as the writers, but they delivered the message that the writers had to write about. So, they basically say, hey, we need a song that sounds like this and has this hook and has this type of style. And then the writers go to work satisfying that brief, basically, that direction that is handed down from the companies above them.
Got it. Okay.
And I'm just the singer at the end of the chain saying, oh, well, let's try this. Gotta catch 'em all. 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 And I do like 10 or 15 different takes and, try different variations at the very end. Little riffs, little embellishments. That's what I do. I come in at the end and do that. I do write songs as well. I did write the Lego Mania, but that was for a different company in a different time. Not a company that is not insignificant, I tell you. Lego is a huge company. I would say they're even bigger than Pokemon in some ways. With their, they've got theme parks and they've got stores in every mall and they've got stores at the airport, and they're pretty huge, and that's how that works. So that's how I know how the system works.
I love Lego.
Jason, let me ask you a personal / academic question right now. I just saw you changing your voice to like in miles per hour, super fast over there, without any fear. Do you have any technique, any practice that Jason perform every day or daily or often to protect your voice cord? Because I saw you going like rampage, going up like no hearing nothing, and I was like, oh my God, his voice. How do you do it? How do you keep it healthy like that?
I think the healthiest thing that I can do is to drink the right water, first of all, because our bodies are made of water, and the body needs water when it's using a lot of energy, and singing takes a lot of energy. So replenishing the voice is always good with a lot of water. But I don't do vocal warm-ups or warm-downs. I think that there's a phrase I have said, you treat your voice like a baby and it acts like a baby. If you believe that you're fragile, and of course that's kind of weird because babies will cry all day and all night. They won't lose their voices. So, but if you baby your voice, it acts like a baby. Think that means that a baby is a fragile thing that you want to protect and you don't want to hurt. When the reality is, the more attention you put on something being fragile, the more it behaves in a fragile way, because the voice is a very emotional thing. It's connected to our belief system. And you can shout and yell and scream and carry on. If you're connected emotionally, if you're connected to what you're saying and what you're doing and why you're doing it, then your body has endless amounts of energy to do that thing. When you're afraid and you're reserved and you're doing something for the wrong reasons, your body will be resistant to that, and it develops stress and strain, and that strain is what can actually damage your voice. When you're so improper singing is more of a psychological thing than it is a physical thing, but it manifests physically. If you're, if you ever notice yourself lying or saying something that's wrong, or like intentionally like covering something up, you might lose your voice because your voice starts to crack and it shows that you're doing something wrong. And that's kind of how bad singing is. When I'm singing something that I don't believe in, that doesn't serve me, I'm straining to get my voice to do it. When I'm singing freely and emotionally connected to what I'm singing about, the voice has endless range and endless stamina and endless drive and expression. So I don't know if that answers your question.
So, well, we're still on that personal note. I don't want to segue out of that just yet.
Sure.
How did you even start in this career? Like at some point in your life where you're like, I want to be this someday, or I just want to do this, or were you doing something completely different? And then was there a turning point in your life where you just landed here? Like, how did that career come about?
Well, I think we all sing from the moment we come out of the womb. We're going. It's just one note. So, and then we learn how to speak by learning A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We sing before we speak. So we're always singing. The career part happened, I think, when I started doing music for television and jingles, the things that are on my shirt. That was the transition from doing it for the bands that I was in so that I could be a rock star. And the career was to be a rock star beforehand, but I wasn't getting paid to be a rock star. We had a record deal and the record deal fell through and we tried to do other things with the band, but the rock star pursuit was a career move that, everybody wants to express themselves, but and be creatively fulfilled by expressing themselves organically. And I was doing that as a musician, as a person in a band, but I needed to make money. So we decided to create a jingle reel, which is a highlights of recordings of jingles that we wrote and produced ourselves, myself and my partner, Russ Irwin, who wrote the Legomania theme song with me. And we produced this demo tape in 1994, 95, and we circulated that demo tape. And it was a tape, an actual physical tape that we gave out to jingle houses in order to hire us to produce and sing and write jingles. And that led to the career move of doing all the things on my shirt that eventually became, my gig with Pokémon. But, I'm still doing my own music and I'm still doing music for other people as well. But that actually turned professional and successfully professional in 1995, about then. And I've been just doing lots of musical projects since then.
And for the youngsters, correct me if I'm wrong, when you said sharing the tapes, we're talking the times when you were a singer, you have a new tape. There was no way to send it by email, but it was
right.
Like copying and sending by mail in the most technological way, or going
or in person.
Yeah, both. Sometimes in mail, we would mail a tape to a jingle house, or we would actually go in person, knock on the door and say, hey, we have this jingle company. Here's our tape. They give them the tape and they listen to it. They go, wow, these guys do a whole bunch of things. We had like 7 different jingles of different that we wrote them ourselves. They weren't real jingles. They were just, songs that we pretended were for the company. And we got some jobs. We got hired. Now we were hired as producers to do demos. Like I said, the client would tell the jingle house, and the jingle house would then make music. And some of these jingle houses would have 5 and 10 writers writing different versions. And then, so we would submit 2 or 3 of them just ourselves, and other writers would submit. So, and they would pay us a demo fee to do that. So it was always basically a paid audition where we would get a couple $100, we'd submit our song and hope that it got picked. And with Legomania, it got picked. I think we did 5 different Legomania demos of different songs that we all wrote. and produced and sung and performed, and it sounded like a full, full thing. It was a full production, background vocals, the whole thing. And they liked that one that we did, and then that commercial, Legomania, that song was put onto like 15 different commercials over the next 5 years. And I just did a remake of the famous Legomania theme. Lego's got a lot that's new for the maniac in you. You'll feel the power, you'll feel filled. Once you feel the feeling built, Legomania. But I put 2 verses together, and I added a rap section, and we got a breakdown with a bridge, and it's going to be excellent, coming out in a couple of months, or maybe at the beginning of next month. Actually, is what I'm shooting for.
Getting ready for the holidays, technically.
Getting ready for the holidays. Guys, I'm sorry about this light. It's all crazy. The sun is going down and it's just slipping in. I'm like trying to find a good spot. There we go.
Wait, do you have any funny memory that you can share with us delivering those tapes back then? Like something happened that was funny, and can you share with us that you remember? Like, oh my God, one day this happened with this house. Any story like that?
Well, one of the funny things is that I listened to this tape not too long ago, and I realized that none of the songs were 30 seconds or 60 seconds, which is exactly what you're supposed to do in the jingle world. That's how they sell advertising space. And every commercial, it's 15, 30, or 60. And we did a whole tape of songs that weren't even the right time length the whole time. I mean, we did this whole thing without even being aware of the length of a commercial. It was that was pretty funny that I was so ignorant and didn't really even consider the primary basic thing that a jingle was 30 seconds. There's a thing that happened that was kind of funny, which was I had a public access TV show at the time. And this public access TV show was on back in the day, and we're talking about 1995 to 2000. There was only 16 or 17 channels on the cable system. So channel 16 was MTV. Channel 17 was my public access cable TV show, which is the What's Up Show. It's on here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. The What's Up Show.
Okay.
And this What's Up Show was very familiar to all of the Jingle House people. It was familiar to everybody in Manhattan, because obviously there's, a lot of people were watching TV, or the TVs would be on at the bar, and they only had 16 choices. So when we popped on, we were doing all these crazy musical skits, and we were basically like Saturday Night Live meets South Park. Really crazy skits. And some of the Jingle Houses, when we would go in and deliver the tape, they'd be like, "You're the guys from the What's Up Show. Oh my God, I watch your show all the time. Oh, you're crazy. I love that show. Oh, you guys do such crazy stuff. It's so cool." So part of having this and public access is basically what we're doing here. You just can do it. You can just put it out on your own channel, except back in the day, there was only 16, 17 channels, whereas now you have the entire internet and everything and all the different platforms you can put yourself out on. But then it was so concentrated that it was a potential 12 million viewers every week, that potential divided between those 16 channels. So sometimes, often they were watching the What's Up Show because it was just the crazy stuff that we could do creatively on our own, with a video camera and no rules. 4 guys, a video camera, no rules. That's what our videotape says. The box
comes through. Like, people right now so afraid with the FCS rule. Federal Communication, FCC. Sorry,
FCC. Right.
So that back then, that dream comes true for today's day. People on the TV, which that's what the reason many of them are turning into YouTube or similar channels to try to avoid those rules on the FCC.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible that it was very surprising that not more people were doing this, but they only had a certain amount of slots. You'd have to apply for a slot, and then you would get your slot. And at one point we applied for 2 slots from 2 different producers, 2 of us. So we would be able to have the show on twice a week, Sundays at 10 o'clock and like Tuesdays or Thursdays at 11. So it was a prime time slot, and people would just watch what we put together in our rehearsal studio and on the streets of New York City. And it's all stuff that's too crazy to even put on YouTube, honestly, because it would get shut down.
It would be LimeWire back then, which is
yeah, pretty much.
So
with the advent of technology, how has your career changed in that sense?
Well, the technology has really, it's driven everybody's career, changed the world, obviously. But I have to say, just recently, I overcame a threshold that has been a barrier for me for 20 years. I've been on YouTube for 20 years. It's 2005, four almost. So almost 20 years on YouTube. I've been trying everything I can to build my following, to build my followers, and to distribute myself, just like I did on public access in Manhattan cable TV. I had 12 million people every day. Someone would stop me on the street. So I was like, oh, YouTube, that's my land. That's where I live. So I've been putting stuff on YouTube, trying to get viral. And the Pokemon theme song went viral in 2016. So it took me 11 years to get something to go viral. Actually, I went viral with a Ron Paul theme song that I wrote, the Pokemon theme song to Ron Paul, who is a political candidate here. That went viral for 250,000 views in 2012, and then they shut it down. It stopped at 250,000 views because YouTube was basically they started deleting Ron Paul channels and political channels that were associated with him, and my song stopped. But after that, I didn't get any viral videos, and I put out so many different things that were really cool, that had really great content, until 2016. I had the Pokemon theme song, and even still, my Pokemon theme song gets way less views than somebody else that puts out a Pokemon theme song. So
What?
It's very bizarre what's happening. I think it's like 45 million views. Somebody put the theme song out. There's not even a video. It's just the audio with one picture of Pokemon, and that's it. And that video at 24 million views, and I'm down at like 2 million views. So it's bizarre. So the technology, I figured out the algorithm for Instagram and for TikTok. Now, these platforms are helping more people then do more things more efficiently than ever before. You don't have to take it out and edit it over here and add your own sound. You don't have to have a powerful computer. You don't have to know editing software. You don't have to have your own music. You don't have to have your own lighting. You don't have to have your own effects. It does it all right there for you. So it's really empowered so many people to do their own things and make really interesting, impactful, powerful things. And I'm on there too, and I'm trying to build my followers, and it's just not happening. It's not happening. I've been on Instagram since the beginning, and I'm at 10,000 followers. And just a few months ago, I got it figured out, and now I'm at 100,000 followers on Instagram, 100,000 followers on TikTok. It's still not, there's plenty of people out there with the tens of millions and the millions and the hundreds of thousands of followers for many years now, with content that is less than compelling in my opinion. But they figured it out, and I think what is going on, and the lesson here is the technology can help, but only when you're going with the flow of it. And the flow of this technology wants you to post 3 times a day at least on TikTok and Instagram. God. And if you do 3 times a day and you hit those right algorithms, at some point you're on the treadmill, and then 3 times a day one of them clicks and it goes huge, and then you get more followers, and then the 3 times a day it clicks even more, it snowballs, and you get more followers, and you get more views, and you get more reaction, you get more response, and you get more requests on your social media, and you get more sales on your store, and you get more of the value of the internet that we're all trying to capture, but we don't know how to capture it. And then you got these guys trying to sell you how you do it. Here's how you do it. I'll put you on this plan, and this is how you get more followers. This is how you do it. And, you know, maybe some of them know how to do it, but they keep changing how you do it. So right now, I've been posting 3 times a day on 4 platforms. And it really worked for TikTok and it really worked for Instagram. But TikTok, it worked first. And then I got millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views on multiple videos. And now when I post on TikTok, it's back down to only 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views, even though I got my 100,000 followers. So I figured it out and then they changed it. So with this advent of technology, you got to figure out the technology. You got to use the technology and have it impact your life in these profound ways. But then you also got to figure out how that technology is changing and keep up with its changing algorithms. It's changing policies. YouTube is constantly changing the policies, removing this, removing that, adding this, adding that.
Yep.
And like, you can't just be on there doing your thing, creating your content. You have to understand the back end, under the hood, what's going on. And very few of us can understand that and create our content at the same time. It's like, it's a very daunting task. So I was very happy when it happened, but I was also like, all right, it's happening. And now it's not happening anymore. What? I got 100,000 followers on TikTok, but I only got 3,000 views here, 2,000 views. What's happening? Before, when I had 30,000 subscribers, I had a couple of videos, but they were getting, but every video was 20,000, 30,000. I'm like, so, you know, it's the algorithms change. They change a little thing over here. They change a thing over there. We don't know what it is. And people change and society changes and what people want changes and my followers change. So, you know, everybody's changing. So though the technology comes in to help us, it also changes very rapidly and we've got to keep up somehow.
And how do you make time for yourself to balance social media life and Jason's responsibilities? Because that's a lot of time consuming.
Well, you can schedule posts. So a lot of times we will schedule posts and we will, have them all laid out so that you do a whole bunch of content at once and then it just goes and lies out. And I have other people helping me as well now to do the greater plan of putting out more content on more platforms. There's also certain apps and programs that you can use that will post on 2 or 3 platforms at one time. So you schedule it out, you multi-platform post, and then you got to sort of figure out the algorithms. It's not easy. It's not an easy task. And I'm not alone in doing this. I have some people helping me with social media now. And since then, it's working. It's working. And we just got to keep it working now.
So, got a couple of questions before we wrap this up. So, one of those questions, first of all, did you ever in your life, like when you were doing, again, like going back to the Pokemon theme song, like did you ever thought that it would have reached such a massive audience and just basically echoed an entire generation?
Well, not Pokemon, but myself. I have the belief in myself that I am going to be the very best, like no one ever was. So I resonated with those lyrics, and my intention is to do good in the world and to spread it to the most people possible. And that's just through planting these seeds that I'm planting, whether it be in my own music, whether it be with other people's music, whether it be in, acting in a movie, in a stage show. I'm always looking to expand a experience into its fullest potential. Like I said, I was doing a public access TV show that was getting 12 million potential viewers in Manhattan. So I knew that there's these possibilities. And then we had Legomania, which was going in on all these commercials. Now, I wasn't credited on the Legomania commercial, so because it's just a commercial, doesn't have credits at the end of a commercial. But nonetheless, the impact that I was having was great. And that's the same thing with Pokemon. it wasn't a credited experience where people were like, oh, it's that guy singing the song. Like if it was Michael Jackson singing the song, then you would have been thinking of Michael Jackson while you heard the song. Instead, it was just the song to serve the show. But yet, because I was in service to the show in this anonymous way, that impact is more organic, I think. And it took 20 years for all those kids to grow up and even think in their minds, oh, somebody sang that. Who sang that? Let me see. Yeah, so I intend, just like other icons and people who I respect and loved and worked with, like Michael Jackson over here. He's one of my idols. There's Paul Stanley. I worked with Paul Stanley when I was 17,
Wow.
right out of high school. Michael Jackson, I sang backgrounds with him in the 2001 show, and these people affect generations. They affect billions of people around the world. So I'm aspiring to be that. But I didn't realize that it would be through this one credit over here. It could have been through this one or through that guy or through, all the many things all put together make me even more legitimately the voice of a generation. This is my voice of a generation gold trainer card that I'm very proud of.
All right. Onyx, you want to say something?
No,
Okay.
that's good. Wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're already 30 minutes. I don't want to abuse from Jason's generosity.
No, it's fine. Give me a couple more questions. I have a little more time.
Yeah, you got it then.
Okay. Then with that said, there was a this is a question from our team member who's not here. So what compelled you to make the recap song for Pokemon? Like was it out of pure fan love, or did you feel like it was owed for the massive love this show has been shown?
Well, yeah, there were many people requesting it, a lot of comments and personal messages people sent me that said, you should do some final song, you should rewrite the theme song with the lyrics of him finalizing himself. He became the very best, like no one ever was. He caught them and that's his test, something like that, just in the past tense. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of a good idea, but it's better if it's a brand new song that isn't a final song, but a graduation song. It's not a funeral, it's a graduation.
Not a funeral, yes.
Yeah, it's about moving on into the next thing. I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just moving on into the next phase of my life. And this was great, but there's all kinds of amazing things ahead for us. And it's really sad that you're graduating and you miss your friends from high school, but then you do. In Ash's case, you miss your friends from middle school or elementary school. I don't know how.
Not even that. It's like finally he's. I remember in the first season he turns 11, and then they shift him back to being 10 again. So
right.
We have Ash being 10 for like almost 30 years.
Right. Exactly. I did a skit about that. Ash, you've been 10 years old for 27 years. We can't keep you this young anymore. The hormone blockers aren't working anymore. The plastic surgery is looking kind of weird. We can't do all these special effects. It's too expensive. We got to let you go. But yeah, I just fans often suggest really good ideas, and this was a really good idea. So I put it together, and it was very easy to just make a compilation of all the great Pokemon scenes and put them together with me in the studio. And that was it, just basically simple. But I get the response on my comments on my website, because the channel, the video is on my website where people can leave comments. It was also on YouTube, but YouTube changed the policy and they automatically made it made for kids, which meant I couldn't have any comments anymore. There were hundreds of incredible comments that were all, I guess, going into the YouTube black hole. that no one will ever see again, that were just all from people that were even in the comment. You'd see, I'm 23, I'm 29 years old, I'm 33, and I've been watching this, and it brought me to tears. Thank you. You know, it was all, everybody was even stating their age. So it wasn't made for kids. But anyway, they had it made for kids, and these comments are now, you can see them on my website. They are so incredible. People are really like spilling their emotions out into the comments. And you know, and I realize why it's so sad for people, because it's just a cartoon character. But it's not just a cartoon character; it's also the character that they play in all of the games, and it's kind of the character that they imagine themselves being in the world as a Pokemon master. So they're not just watching some other character, they're watching the character that represents them move on and have to move on. And I think it's going to be really cool what we see, all of the fan-made videos and the fan-made Pokemon things that are going to have Ash growing some facial hair, getting a girlfriend, or getting a boyfriend, or doing whatever he's going to do, getting a driver's license, drinking a beer, smoking a joint, going to Burning Man. Ash is going to do all kinds of things now.
Finally turning 11, 12,
Finally
13,
turning
yes.
11, right.
When you said that everybody dreamed to be like Ash Captain, I just imagine all my childhood and people in my school, they always throw me with Pokeballs. My name is Onyx, my real name is Onyx, so people throw me Pokeballs because I was the real living Pokemon.
Yeah.
That was soft bullying. The good one. It was kind of fun,
Yeah.
to be honest.
That's incredible.
Quick question. I mean, this one's more technical question. I don't think there will be any new anime songs like this one, which went global. It really impact globally and many generations because many changes that happen in the industry with anime, especially with the opening songs. Do you see any hope in the future that some change might happen that will open the window for another potential song from somebody to go globally viral that impact generation like this one, or do you believe we're kind of far from that?
That's just that just depends on something that is going to achieve the same popularity. I think when I release the Lego Mania song, it's going to have a similar effect because it's something that everybody remembers, or everybody from 1995 to 2000, if you were that old, remembers. But those people then have to introduce it to their children. And that's what's happening with Pokemon, is that everybody that grew up with it is now introducing it to their children, and they're introducing the main theme song, not the 23 other theme songs that happened. They're introducing the main theme song to their kids, and it's going to spread another generation of love for the whole ecosystem, not just for the song. So something has to have that much life, and I don't think that there are mediums anymore that are that concentrated like TV. Like I said, you had 17 channels, so channel 16 is Pokemon, channel 17 is MTV, channel 15 is Jason Paige's What's Up show. So when you have that much focus, then you can affect that many people. If they were to shut down social media and give you only 15 channels again, then maybe there'll be something else that will get everybody. And that was 15 channels, not just here, but in the whole world. You know, the whole world only had 15 channels to watch and watched Pokemon, you know, and they watched the other things that were on as well. But so no, I don't think that there ever will be another thing. I think we are a decentralized society now, and we're becoming more decentralized, and that decentralization is going to lend itself to diversity. And you know, when it's centralized, you have the one that's why Pokemon succeeded back in the day, because it was centralized. And so no, I don't think it ever will happen again.
I agree with you. I never saw it like that way. So before we wrap it up, when we speak about Pokemon, any special chapter or memory from this Pokemon series that really hit your life, that you still remember it, like still remember it, gives you goosebumps or feelings?
Honestly, the first time I watched it on a big TV, because I have only experienced Pokemon on my phone. I never watched it on my TV back in the day. I never was I watched it for research on my computer or on the phone. And when I watched it for the first time on the big screen, and the song played, and it was this, it made me cry, because I realized how big it was in other people's minds. Like how I was the kid and the big TV was in front of me, whereas I've only seen it as an adult on a little tiny screen. And when I got to be the kid in front of the big one, this guy had like a big giant hanging on the wall screen, and I was like, I cared about the characters. I wanted to know what was happening. The sound was great. The voices were like impacting me. When you're watching a thing on a little screen or on your computer, it doesn't take you away in the same way. So yeah, basically that was it. That was the most impactful moment. I don't remember even what it was, what episode it was. It was Ash and Pikachu, obviously, doing something. But I remember the TV just having this impact over me.
They're going to mention Bye Bye Butterfly. Butterfly. Bye Bye
Right,
Butterfree.
Free. Butterfree.
Bye Bye Butterfree. That's part of the video that we put together for the last goodbye song, which you can get on all major platforms. And if you want Jason Paige cards, you can get the Jason Paige cards. Oh, I'll show you the new cards. We got this one, and we have the new Jason Paige card that just came in, which is so cool.
And to wrap it up, tell us, Jason, all your social media where people can follow you and the webpage. That, by the way, they're going to be down in the description. Please, guys, go to the description, click the links.
JasonPage.com/shop or just JasonPage.com. You can see all the other things that are going on. And here is the Jason Paige tour card that just came in.
Ooh,
That's
okay,
fire.
that one looks really cool.
That's still not in the webpage, right?
Yeah, that's on the webpage.
It is already?
It is now. It's there. I had it. I was supposed to have it ready for the tour, and I didn't have it. It didn't come out right, so I had to have them redone. And this company called Gorilla Cards does really good work. You can't see it. It's not focusing, but it's great. It's great. And that one doesn't have the Pokemon. That has the Jason Paige stuff on the back, the OG. And that music note coming out of the mic is the Pokemon theme song.
Thank you for saying that, because illiterally, like musically illiterate people like me would have been like, "Oh, that looks so cool," but that's just like another layer of depth. That's wow.
Which other social media they can follow you, Jason? We said TikTok.
Yep, TikTok, Jason Paige, Instagram, Jason Paige, Facebook, Jason Paige, YouTube, Jason Paige, and Twitter, Jason Paige Show, Twitch, Jason Paige Show. But I haven't really been doing any twitching. I was thinking about getting into that. You guys twitching?
Yes.
Starting to.
Yeah.
We're trying to get their followers up for now. Yes.
Yep. Another algorithm that we have to figure out. And I'm also on Whatnot, Jason Paige. If you want to buy cards, you can go to Whatnot. We're doing auctions on Whatnot, which is really cool. But the best place to go is at jasonpage.com/shop or just jasonpage.com for all the new things. I'm going to be in Pasadena tomorrow at a place called Odyssey Games. And then next week, I'm going to go to Lompoc, California for RocketCon. And then EC3Con in Mohegan Sun on Sunday, the 11th. And then Poke Rave. Pretty sure I'm going to be at the Poke Rave in Las Vegas at the Brooklyn Bowl on the 16th, which is really great. And then I'm headed back to the Netherlands again, because the Netherlands is Pokemon Central. They vote the Pokemon theme song into the top 200 songs of all time every year. So there's lots of fans in the Netherlands, and I'll do some stores and Dutch Comic Con. I'm going to be appearing at Dutch Comic Con. So it's the whole world. There's so many incredible opportunities and more every day. And thanks to you guys for your efforts and putting all this content out into the world. It really helps stimulate people, move people, and connect them with the nostalgia that is the power that's inside. Yes, it is this pure joy that we can experience when we connect to that. And Pokemon is a time bomb of nostalgic joy inside of 2 billion people waiting to be released by programs like the one that you guys are producing, and the things that I can do in the world. And so many other people are doing such amazing things. But I have a particularly effective trigger, I like to call it, to release that power that's inside by singing the song, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was, to people in a live environment with a band, or even just to the tracks, or even just a cappella in a store, which I'm probably going to do tomorrow. And it's really cool, and I have profound gratitude for you guys. I'm just trying to catch up. When I did this song back in the day, I spent 4 hours recording it, probably 4 or 5 hours total. You spent 4,000 hours or more, and I'm just trying to catch up to you guys. So thank you for all the effort that you're making as well.
Thanks to you, Jason. This has been a wonderful gift to us and of all of Puerto Rico and Latin America. It's an honor.
Sí, gracias.
Gracias a ti, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Sayonara.
Sayonara. Gracias.